everyone. Welcome back. Today we're taking a deep dive into something pretty relevant to, well, just about all of us.
Yeah.
Audio social media.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically, how to use it wisely without
Right.
falling into what can sometimes be like a validation.
Oh, valid.
Vortex, yeah.
Vortex, yeah.
So this deep dive is based on an article called The Hidden Pitfalls of Seeking Validation on Audio Social Media.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really, really fascinating look. And you know how we all kind of love a little bit of positive feedback?
Oh, yeah. We're social creatures, right?
We're social creatures, and it feels good to be heard and to be acknowledged. And it's easy on these platforms, especially audio.
Yeah.
Once kind of get caught up in the
Lights and the...
likes and the clacks and
You like the
claps and all that. Oh, yeah. But the article points out that can actually be
Yeah.
kind of harmful.
Yeah. I think it can be a real slippery slope, can it?
It can be, yeah. And we're going to really unpack that today and talk about 5 pitfalls to watch out for that the article brings up.
Okay.
And then some strategies to stay grounded and authentic because, authenticity is something we talk about a lot.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just so crucial in these spaces.
It is because it's so easy to get caught up in sort of the performance of it all.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah.
Am I coming across right?
Yeah.
Am I saying the right thing?
Yeah, are people liking me?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not really...
It's almost like being back in high school again, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Where you're like trying to impress the cool kids and
Big is.
fit in and
Yeah, totally.
And and hoping people are gonna like you and invite you to the party. It's that whole thing.
Right.
But what I really found fascinating about the article was that it starts off by saying, look, we get it. We get why it feels good. To get positive feedback in these spaces, to get likes, to have people
Yes.
respond to you. It's like, it's a dopamine hit.
It is.
It's validation. It's a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
It's it's like scoring a goal or the winning touchdown or whatever. Everyone's cheering for you.
Exactly.
So there is that basic human need at play.
Yeah, and that's where I think it gets so tricky.
Yeah.
Because it's not that those things are inherently bad.
Right.
It's how we kind of...
It's when we start to make that the main thing, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like building a house on rented land almost.
Yeah. Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
If that's where I'm getting my validation, if the likes dry up, what happens to me?
Yeah. And then your self-worth starts to seesaw with every notification, and that's a recipe for...
It's exhausting.
Disaster exhaustion,
Total emotional exhaustion.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's get into these pitfalls.
Okay.
Because I think this is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
So number 1 is what the article refers to as fleeting validation.
Yeah.
And this is what you were talking about with like the dopamine hit.
Right.
It's like...
It's that sugar rush, right.
Is a total sugar rush. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get that high. But it fades so quickly.
And you're always chasing the next one.
You're always chasing the next one.
It's like an addiction, isn't it?
It's like an addiction.
Yeah.
It really is. And then that leads us to pitfall number 2, which is...
distorted priorities.
Yeah, distorted priorities, because now you're spending all this time...
You're chasing those likes and the claps and the follows and the, the numbers.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on what really matters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like you're going to the concert to get the Instagram story.
Yes.
But not to actually listen to the music.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's that kind of distorted...
It's a distorted sense of, what's important.
And then pitfall number 3. And this one, I will admit, I have fallen prey to many times.
Oh, I think we all have.
It's the comparison trap.
Oh, yes, the comparison trap.
And I think this is especially easy in audio social media.
Yeah.
Because you're hearing other people.
You're hearing their voices.
Yeah, being very articulate.
And they're often very well spoken and,
Yeah, and you're like...
They sound super smart.
Right. I'm not that smart. I'm not that funny.
You think, oh my God, I could never be that articulate.
Yeah, I could never sound like that.
I could never, speak so clearly and have my thoughts so well put together.
Right.
But the thing is, we're comparing our everyday selves to their highlight reel, aren't we?
Yeah.
I mean, people don't often share their...
Right.
Failures or their bloopers.
Right.
They share the best version of themselves.
And also, I think it's so easy to forget that we're comparing our beginnings to maybe someone else's middle.
Yes.
We don't know how long they've been doing this.
Right.
We don't know what their journey has been.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
We're not seeing the raw, messy bits, are we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that can be so...
We're just seeing the polished, edited version,
Right.
you know?
Yeah. And I think that can stifle
Your creativity.
your creativity. It can make you not want to take risks.
And stop you from sharing your unique voice because you think,
Mhm.
oh, well, mine's not as good as that, so why bother?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into the last two pitfalls and then talk about some solutions.
Sounds good.
Okay. Welcome back. We are in the middle of talking about the 5 pitfalls of seeking validation on audio social media.
Yeah.
We've gotten through the first 3.
3.
So let's jump into number 4, which is superficial connections. And this one, I think, especially is important for people who are using these platforms for networking,
Yes, absolutely.
right? Because you can have
Yeah.
lots of followers, but are you really building relationships?
That's the question, isn't it?
That's the question.
Yeah.
You know, are these people you could call up
Right,
on
exactly.
the phone and say, hey, I need help with this?
Yeah, yeah.
Or are they just
Are you collecting followers like trophies?
kind of, yeah.
Or are you actually interested in
Right.
connecting with other human beings on a
Oh.
deeper level?
Yeah.
Because, even connecting through a screen, if you're going to have a real connection with someone,
Yeah.
it does take time. It does take vulnerability.
Totally.
It takes a willingness to go beyond that sort of surface level chit chat.
Right.
Yeah,
And that can be hard
it can.
in these spaces
It can. Yeah.
because there is so much of that.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Yeah, exactly.
quick, transactional kind of
Yeah.
conversation. Okay. And then pitfall number 5. This one really, I think, sums it all up,
Great.
which is misplaced value.
Misplaced value. Yeah.
And this is like, thinking, oh, I got 100 claps on that comment. I must be brilliant.
Right.
But what happens when the
Yeah.
claps go away?
Yeah. Does that mean you're not brilliant anymore?
Does that mean I'm not brilliant anymore?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that,
It's about where we place our sense of worth, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But
like, are we tying it to those external metrics?
yeah. And that feels so unstable to me.
It is, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a shaky ground to build your sense of self on, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
those are the 5 pitfalls. And I think it's really easy to
It is.
hear that and go, well, now I'm terrified of audio social media.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the point isn't to be afraid of it. The point is to,
The point is to use it wisely, right?
yeah, use it wisely.
Yeah.
So how do we do that?
Yeah, what are some ways we can kind of like course correct,
Right.
Well,
I think the first thing is that shift in focus, from
Yes.
seeking external validation
Right.
to cultivating internal validation.
I love that, yeah.
It's about developing a strong sense of self
Yeah.
that doesn't crumble when the likes disappear, when the
Yeah.
claps dry up.
Exactly.
You know?
Your worth comes from within,
Yeah.
not from,
Not for
some popularity contest.
not from some algorithm. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And also, I think being really
You're
intentional
intentional. Yeah.
about why you're using these platforms.
Yeah. Ask yourself, why am I here?
Yeah.
What do I want to contribute?
Yeah.
What do I want to get out of this?
What am I hoping to get out of this? Or what am I
Yeah.
hoping to contribute to the conversation?
Yeah, and then speak from that place of authenticity.
Yeah.
And
Without needing the
working
approval.
without
Right.
everyone else. Yeah.
Which I know is easier said than done.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
But I think even just that awareness,
But it's like anything, it's a
Maybe.
practice, right?
that's a practice.
The more you do it,
Yeah.
the more comfortable you become
Yeah.
with just being yourself, putting yourself out there,
Totally.
and not worrying about whether everyone's going to like it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
And I think also being willing to
Yeah.
step back from spaces that don't feel good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You don't have to be on every platform. You
Right.
don't have to be in every room,
Right?
chasing every trend.
Yeah.
It's okay to be selective, protect your energy,
Yeah.
focus on the spaces that feel genuinely nourishing to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that might change over time too.
It might. Yeah, absolutely. And that's okay too.
And that's okay. It's like being mindful about your
Yeah.
real world relationships.
It's just like real life, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I think the last thing the article talks about, which I think is so important, is remembering that
Yes.
these platforms don't define us.
Right. Our lives are so much
They
bigger
don't define us.
than our online presence.
Right.
We have real world accomplishments. We
Yeah.
have relationships.
Yeah.
We have passions. We have experiences
Yeah.
that shape who we are.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a lot.
It was. But,
I think it's such
but it's such important stuff.
it is, it's such important stuff.
Yeah.
We really did a deep dive today
We did a deep dive.
into the pitfalls of seeking validation
Mm-hmm.
on audio, social media, but also, I think, more importantly, how to use it in a way that really
Yeah,
supports your well-being,
exactly.
your authenticity.
And mental health.
Yeah, your mental health, yeah.
All of that good stuff.
Yeah, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And I think the question that I'm going to leave everyone with
Okay.
is, if you could design an audio social media platform that truly fostered
Ooh, that's a good question.
genuine connection,
Yeah.
what would it look like?
Yeah, what would it look like?
What values would it prioritize?
And how could it help us connect
Yeah.
with each other in a more meaningful way?
Yeah,
That is a question.
that is the question
Yeah.
that I hope everyone kind of sits with,
Sits with.
because I think there's a lot
Adiras.
to think about there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll catch you on the next one.
See you later.